It was a crazy week, a crazy last 2 weeks in the sport of boxing. Obviously, Errol Spence Jr., the big headline news, torn retina, detached retina. Everybody expected, as far as Errol Spence Jr. to be the guy to beat the man. Imagine if Errol Spence Jr. would have fought tonight against Manny Pacquiao, would have beat Manny Pacquiao, and would have had that name under his resume and would have, defended his titles. Now listen, it's one of those things, and we mentioned it earlier, we mentioned it last week. When you're taking a fight on short notice, when you're switching things up within a 2-week period of time, Manny Pacquiao trained for a southpaw. You know what I'm saying? He trained for Errol Spence Jr. He had to take the fight. He felt obligated to take the fight, and it's one of those things. Manny Pacquiao is going into his 72nd career professional fight. Manny Pacquiao has seen every single type of, as far as style there is in boxing. But we have to understand something. Manny Pacquiao is 42, 43 years old. He's not the same Manny. He's coming off of a 25-month layoff. Previously, when he fought Keith Thurman, he was coming off another 2-year layoff. And it's just one of those things, man, where Father Time catches up. Father Time is always undefeated. You understand what I'm saying? Ugas had a hell of a game plan. You know what I mean? Ugas was in the pocket. He was sharp with his jab, had a very long reach. In my opinion, he tended to telegraph a lot of his power shots in which Manny Pacquiao was able to block. But the thing about it is that he was able to throw off Manny Pacquiao's timing simply with the jab and also with the overhand right. Manny Pacquiao respected the guy's overhand right so much that every single time that he would attempt to land, Manny Pacquiao would block it, but he would have to reset. We all know the type of style Manny Pacquiao does, man. He comes in, he comes forward, he's going to throw 2, 3, 4 punch combinations, drops his hands down and just lunges. And if he's not hitting anything and if he's not landing, he's going to get caught, man. He got caught with some really flush shots. I would say, in my opinion, right, that Manny Pacquiao was taking more shots with Keith Thurman than he did with Ugas, but Ugas was more precise with his punches. He landed close to 60% of his power shots. That's Ugas. Let's see here. Shout outs to Junior Ortiz. What's going on? Shout outs to Jesse Salazar. Spence with a KO Pacquiao. I completely 100% agree. We have to understand something, man. Manny Pacquiao is he's a shell. I'm sorry to say this, but he's a shell of his old self. I mean, Manny Pacquiao still possesses so many different types of problems to so many different types of fighters. But when you got guys like Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Earl the True Spence Jr., guys like that are power punchers, that can throw punches and bunches, they're explosive, can throw combinations, man, they would have got Manny Pacquiao the fuck out of there. You know what I mean? And I say that with all respect. I'm a huge Manny Pacquiao fan. He's done so much for the sport. The guy's a legend. He is the only four-time as far as decade champion, man. He's been the only champion in 4 different decades. 8-time divisional champion. I mean, Manny Pacquiao is one of the greatest of all time. Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? But Ugas is an Olympian. Strong. I mean, he was a decent puncher, very long jab. He knows how to box. But even Ugas had a little bit of trouble himself. He was staying on the inside, and any time that he would throw the jab, he would land. And in my opinion, again, he was always constantly telegraphing that overhand right. He didn't land the overhand right flush. And if I'm mistaken, he may have landed it maybe once or twice. But it was nothing like Juan Manuel Marquez. When the last fight, when Juan Manuel Marquez would land that overhand right, boom, it lands straight on the chin. Manny Pacquiao would get dropped. You know what I mean? So I think Ugas fought a very careful fight. I would have loved to see him kind of press the action a little bit more, but we all knew the type of fight that Manny was going to bring. He was going to press the action, try to lunge with his punches, throw 2, 3, 4 punch combinations, and he was going to have to get hit on the way in. You got Manny Pacquiao 67 inches to Ugas, who's just a bigger, stronger, longer fighter. So, I mean, it was one of those things. But I agree with Jesse. Earl Spence Jr. tonight would have stopped, or rather would have knocked out Manny Pacquiao. That's just my opinion. Let's see here. Shout outs to Junior Ortiz, he says, Ugas got a gift tonight. Really, he didn't do good. Really, Pacquiao looked bad, slow, and couldn't get punches, and the kind of bad for the legend. He looked terrible out there. Looked like he looked against Thurman. Look, man, me grading it round by round, I had it 6 rounds to 6. I had it a tie. You know what I'm saying? You can make the argument, perhaps Ugas, you could give it to him 7-5. But if I'm really truly grading each fight, or rather this particular fight, round by round, I had it 6-6, man. I really did. I think Pacquiao started faded towards the championship rounds, which is very odd of him. But you know what, man? Again, he's 42, 43 years old, and Ugas was just patient, man. He knew what to expect. He knew when to time. And remember, guys, in boxing, timing beats speed. Manny Pacquiao has the speed. He has the punches and bunches. He tends to, in my opinion, this particular fight, he was smothering a lot of his punches. But, I mean, it is what it is. Again, it's Manny Pacquiao, man. He's a legend. He tried to bring the fight to Ugas. Ugas was going to be sitting back trying to counter all night. And he had a festival. You know what I mean? He had a feast. I want to hear what you guys think, man. How did you guys score it? What did you guys think? Let's see here. Let's see here. Shout outs to Jesse Salazar. Says Spence would have KO'd him. Albert, what up? My boy Albert Mendez. Sup, Blue? What up, Blue? Already. Joe Julan Tony. Is he retiring? You know what, man? I think he should. Again, it's Manny Pacquiao. He's 42 years old. He has nothing left to prove. What is he going to prove? In my opinion, the only true, I mean, if Manny Pacquiao wants to go out with a bang, if he wants to go out with one more hoorah, one more last fight, it should be against Mikey Garcia. I didn't like this fight against Ugas. Ugas is a bad matchup for anybody. But in my opinion, Manny Pacquiao should either fought Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence Jr. Or Mikey Garcia. I think Mikey Garcia would have made a better sense for him, in the sense that it would have just made more money. You know what I'm saying? Ugas is just... Nobody wants to fight Ugas, man. Ugas gave a crazy fight to Sean Porter. Many had him winning. Many had him beating Sean Porter. And Ugas, this is stylistically, it's a bad matchup for anybody. He has that Cuban style of fighting, man. So, I mean, it's horrible. Louis Bleezy says, steroid user. Junior Ugas, let's see here. My boy Jose Rendon, my boy Noe G. Shout out to Noe G. Ugas won clearly, but as a Manny fan, we have to accept his age and that he shouldn't fight anymore. You know what, man? He doesn't have anything to prove, man. I think if anything, if Manny Pacquiao continues fighting, it's because he needs the money. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to run for president. If you're running for presidency, you're going to need that money. You're going to need that backup. You're going to need that following. But, you know, sometimes in boxing, man, it's unfortunate because it's one of those things where sometimes fighters, man, they don't know when to leave the sport, man. You know, they don't want to leave. They don't know what else is next. They don't really have a lot of things going for them. And unfortunately, you know, with Manny Pacquiao, I mean, it's just, man, it's not the Manny Pacquiao that we're used to seeing. You know, it is what it is. I mean, he's a legend. You know, I paid the pay-per-view to see him fight because we owe it to him. I felt like I owed it to him. You know, he brought so much to the sport. And, you know, I was more than happy to pay $80, $90, $100 to see him fight. But he doesn't have any, you know, you guys have to keep in mind, again, Terrence Crawford would have stopped him. Bud Crawford would have stopped Manny Pacquiao tonight. Earl Spence Jr. would have stopped Manny Pacquiao. Virgil Ortiz Jr. would have killed Manny Pacquiao tonight. Boots Ennis would have completely annihilated, completely destroyed Manny Pacquiao tonight. And you know what, man? That's no knock, bro. You got to understand, Manny Pacquiao, again, 42 years old, man. Let's call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? He would have got murked. Jose Rendon says 2-year layoff after Thurman fight. Absolutely, man. I mean, and that just goes to show you when you take time off, man, and it shows, man. It's so important to stay in the gym. It's so important to just stay ready, man. And, bro, Manny Pacquiao didn't have to take this fight. Once Earl Spence Jr. pulled out, he could have fought and attempted to unify. But you know what, man? Manny did the right thing to keep the show going. He attempted to keep the fight going. The show must go on. You know what I mean? And guess what? Now they're going to set up a fight between Ugas and Errol Spence Jr., which obviously that's not a bigger fight, but it's a very winnable fight for Errol Spence. Errol Spence beats Ugas. He becomes the WBA, IBF, WBC champion in hopes in which it may potentially set up a title fight between the winner of Crawford or Porter, or potentially the winner of Crawford and Virgil Ortiz. So I mean, it's going to be a hell of a. It's gonna be very interesting to see how it plays out, because there's no guarantee that even Errol Spence Jr. is going to come back to fight again. There's no guarantee of that. And who knows, man, he may be out a year or two. And if he does, he's going to have to vacate his titles. So it's very interesting to see how all that shit plays out, man. Like I said, that's why it's so important nowadays, guys, for the best to fight the best. We as fight fans, as boxing fans, we have to demand more from the sport. We have to demand more from the fighters. And, we have to understand, man, like, the promoters are the ones that put on these fights, but we're the one to pay for them, man. So we have to say, when we got to say no, we say no. And when we got to fucking make a stand, we'll make a stand. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. It's as clear as day. I want to hear what you guys think, man. What did y'all think of the fights tonight? Did y'all think it was pay-per-view worthy? Did you guys have a watch party? I mean, what's going on? I mean, I know a lot of people from Dallas that were supposed to fly out to Vegas, and everybody canceled their trips. As soon as Errol Spence pulled out, a lot of people canceled their trip. So it just sucks for Manny, man, because remember, Manny Pacquiao had, from my understanding, his contract was over with Al Heyman. His contract was over with PBC. And he was owed one more fight with PBC. He ended up signing with the same manager as Conor McGregor. Ended up getting into some sort of a lawsuit because he ended up skipping the fight with Mikey Garcia. Ends up taking this fight. I'm sure Al Heyman ended up taking care of him on the back end with his IRS situation. And even giving him his guaranteed money. But at the end of the day, man, this is a business move. These are business decisions. You know what I mean? Again, I had the fight right dead stank in the middle, 6-6. I had it a draw. Again, you can make the argument that Ugas won 7-5, but I had it 6-6. That's just how I graded it. But it sucks, man. It really does. Ugas is he's on the top of the mountain, man. He's the Cinderella story. Obviously, I said this earlier, man. Boxing is about that Cinderella story, the next one up. And I made a reference last weekend. Shout outs to the Boxing Rundown. We had a boxing media panel, and I was invited on as a guest. I said, listen, guys, remember, the last time that somebody took a fight 2 weeks' notice, it was Andy Reese versus Anthony Joshua. Nobody gave Andy Reese a shot. Everybody thought it was a joke. He was going to get murked. He was going to get walked over. And what happened? He shocked the world, became the first Mexican-American heavyweight champion. And that says a lot. Bro, this is boxing, man. It's you really, truly need your fucking 6, 7, 8 weeks of training in order to prepare for a fighter. I don't give a damn if you're being a professional for this many years. I don't care if you're able to adjust on the fly. You have to do your preparation. You have to prepare. In my opinion, Ugas obviously is a completely different fighter than Spence, man. Imagine going to training camp 5 or 6 weeks and you're sparring lefties and just you have a specific game plan to win the fight, and out of nowhere, you're taking a fight last minute. All your fucking soul is just sucked out of you. You know what I mean? Your whole desire to win, your desire to fight, just there's something that's just taken away from you. Now, I'm not saying that that played a part, but what I'm saying is that there's a lot of factors that played a part. We know Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's not a boxer. He's not the type of guy that's going to box circles. He's going to come in, throw his 3 to 4 punch combinations as he's lunging in, and all you got to do is counter. You got to jab to stop him on in his sequence. That's it. You know what I mean? Make it rough for him, frustrate him, make him reset, and you have the fight in the bag. And that's exactly what Ugas did. Now look, Ugas took punishment as well. If you look at Ugas' face, he had knocks left and right. You know what I mean? He got beat up too, Don't make it seem like Ugas was just completely dominated. It was a no, it was nothing like that. It was a very close, entertaining fight. Let's see here. So Blue, steroid 2-year layoff. It really rather Spence Pac pass down the torch. Junior Ortiz says, I really would have rather Spence beat Pacquiao in order for him to be the passing of the torch to Spence than Ugas. He's really someone to build on. My boy, Xbox steroid user. Let's see here. Is he retiring? Steroid user. I couldn't use his legs, his angles, or turn the body. Damn. Yeah, shout outs to Anthony Reyes. Said Manny Pacquiao could not use his angles. He couldn't use his legs tonight. And again, bro, father time. You know what I'm saying? But look, Manny Pacquiao had to try to get on the inside. This guy's a big fighter. In order to get on the inside, you got to do head movements. You got to get on the, I mean, you have to try and get on, to neutralize the reach advantage. You're going to have to try to do some head movement to try to get on the inside, land a couple punches to the body, and just, you know, do your thing. Manny Pacquiao's really not a body puncher. He's a guy that, again, he's going to go pop, 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 and then he's going to back out. Pop, 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 back out. And he just couldn't do that tonight. He just didn't have his... He said after the fight that he was cramping, which I don't really believe. But I think Ugas was just... He had the perfect game plan. He was just... He stood his ground. He fought when he needed to fight, and he engaged when he needed to engage. And I think he had a really good performance tonight. But Ugas is again, he's trouble for anybody. I think Ugas loses to Earl Spence Jr. I think obviously Ugas loses to Terrence Crawford. Now, guys like Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, obviously those fights are 50-50, 60-40. I think you have to favor Ugas. Ugas, in my opinion, even beat Porter in their first fight. Let's see here. So Ugas won clearly. See here. Blue was smoking crack with their scorecard. Put me on, my boy Julian Gibbons. Put me on. What the fuck was your scorecard? My scorecard was 6-6, bro. I had it 6-6. You can make the argument 7-5 Ugas, but I think, in my opinion, man, I felt that Ugas tried to steal rounds towards the end of each round, and I mean, it's just Manny would come on strong earlier in the round, and then Ugas would try to steal the rounds. You know what I'm saying? Towards the end of it, so. It was a lot of back and forth, man. I mean, it could have gone either way. But remember, there's 4 ways of judging the scorecards. It's effective aggressiveness, punches landed, defense, and ring generalship. So if we're grading each round round by round, you have to see, who dominated the fight, who pressed the action, who landed the more stronger punches, who was backing who up, who, got whose game plan out of who. You know what I mean? I think Manny Pacquiao was the guy that was truly pressing the action. You got a 42-year-old, 43-year-old man pressing the action on a guy that's much bigger, taller, stronger. I mean, goddamn. That has to count for something. Alphonse team says it's time to say goodbye to the sport. Thank you, Pac-Man, for the memories already, man. Johnny Ray Casa says, credit to Manny. He didn't have to take this fight after Spence. He dropped a 43-year-old, still competing with these young lions already. I completely agree. He said he scored it 8-4. My boy Jose Rendon, Jules, Blues is tripping. 7-5 Ugas. Julian has 7-5 Ugas. Let's see here. Ugas beat him convincingly. Shout outs to Ramelo Alejandro Sosa. Let's see here. Julian Gibbons, put me on. I didn't like the fight. Wasn't expecting the decision. My boy Jose Rendon. Let's see here. Only thing that kept Manny in his fight was the one pressuring, and Ugas was just waiting to land shots. Yeah, exactly. Again, Ugas had a perfect game plan, man. We know Ugas is not a banger. He's not gonna go in there and do damage and just kick somebody's ass from pillar to post, throwing everything but the kitchen sink. Ugas is a counter puncher. You know what I mean? He uses his Cubano style of boxing, his Cuban style of boxing. He wasn't gonna do that. You know what I mean? But hey, man, credit to him. Credit to him. Turn my boy on real quick. Ugas tried to steal rounds, bro. Ugas worked. Ugas outworked them. My boy. My mom will be hustling menudo in the morning. Pinches borrachos. Ay no más. Who's trying to get on, man? Let's talk some boxing. Victor Valles. Let's try to get on. Let's talk some boxing. Let's go. Let's go. Great night. Great night. Yeah, like I said, man, it's going to be interesting to see because nobody knows what Earl Spence is going to do. Is Earl Spence going to retire? Is he going to return back to the gym? Apparently, the doctor's reports came out saying he had a detached retina, which is more serious than a torn retina. I mean, you don't know what to believe. I remember when Earl Spence Jr. had his accident, everybody thought he lost his limb, he lost his leg, that he was never going to fight again. And then, I mean, it's one of those things that he shocks the world. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, it sucks, man. It's very interesting to see. Obviously, Virgil Ortiz had a hell of a performance last weekend against the Mean Machine. A lot of people were trying to see if that was going to be his step-up fight. How well would he look against the Mean Machine than what Crawford did? And, bro, this is a young man's game. You got guys that are 23, 24, 25 years old that are working their way up. And you got guys like Crawford, who's 34, 35, going towards 36. Manny Pacquiao, 42, 43 years old. Ugas, that's 35. Earl Spence, that's 32, 33. These guys are not going to be fighting in the welterweight division much longer, more or less even continuously fighting. You know what I mean? They're already kind of on their way out a little bit. They're looking for paychecks, looking for paydays, and, rightfully so. They've earned it. But then you got welterweights, you got guys that are here to stay, man. Guys that are here to make statements. You know what I mean? Like Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, Connor Ben, guys like that. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. These PBC guys don't want to fight each other, man. When is Porter fighting next? When is Danny Garcia fighting again? When is Keith Thurman fighting? He hasn't fought in over 2 years. What's the holdup? What's the problem? I don't understand. Fernando Pantallon said he'll be back, bro. John Rick Guarda. Shout outs to John Rick Guarda. R. Anthony, who really won out of all the BS? I missed the fight. Man, you know what, man? I had it 6-6, but I think Ugas won the fight tonight, man. I think he won fair and square. Let's see here. Shout outs to Christopher Kennedy. See who wants to come on. Who wants to come on? Let's talk some boxing, man. Shout outs to Jaime Antonio Rodriguez, my boy Jose Rendon, aka the Boxing Prophet. Shout outs to Johnny Ray Casas. See here. Junior Ortiz, shout outs to Junior Ortiz. Shout outs to Fernando Panteon. Victor Valles, shout outs to Victor Valles. Joe Tony. Already. John Rick Garda, shout outs to Johnny Garda. Timothy Luta. Jacob Ray, shout outs to Jacob Ray. Christopher Kennedy. Ugas deserves credit. Much respect. Definitely, man. Much respect to Ugas, man. Ugas definitely won that fight. He looked good, man. I wonder what's next for him. I wonder what he's going to do. How is he going to play it out? It's going to be interesting. Very interesting to see. Shout outs to Carlos Ramirez. Shout outs to the homie Carlos Ramirez. What's up, Mr. Blue? Already. What do I think about Ugas versus Spence? I think Spence is a really great boxer. I think he's a great boxer puncher. He does excellent work on the inside. He's an excellent fighter on the inside. He knows how to throw body shots, combination, knows how to set traps, knows how to throw certain punches. Obviously, he's just a lot more busier than Pacquiao, a lot more stronger. He's a lot more bigger. So I think he would be able to really press the action and really push Ugas on the back foot. Ugas doesn't do well fighting on the back foot. Ugas is more of a boxer, more of a counterpuncher, and I don't think he has what it takes in order for him to beat Errol Spence. I think it would be a very easy, unanimous decision victory for Errol Spence. If it's a pre-injury Errol Spence, because we don't know how he is with his eye. We don't really truly know how it's affected him, how it how he would come back, or even if he is coming back. I mean, it sucks, man. I really do hope that he comes back, but if anybody can come back from that, obviously it's Errol Spence. He's like, I got Spence already. Spence eat up Ugas all day, every day, twice on Sunday, bro. Shout outs to Ruben Jr. Vera. Yeah, man, it's going down. Let's see here. What did y'all think of the co-main, man? Victor Ortiz versus Robert the Ghost Guerrero. Obviously, both guys were past their primes. It's funny, man, that I remember that Oscar De La Hoya was once at one point was trying to push Victor Ortiz to be like the next golden boy, the next guy, and when he ended up quitting against Marcos Maidana, I mean, it was disastrous from there. Even when he was headbutting Floyd Mayweather, got the biggest payday of his career, ends up blowing that opportunity up, and he was just never truly able to recover from that. Robert the Ghost Guerrero, I mean, this guy's a former world champion, a guy that went up from 135 going straight to 147, ended up beating Andre Berto, he ends up getting a fight with Floyd Mayweather when Floyd Mayweather was coming out of jail when he got arrested, and Floyd Mayweather beat the brakes off of him. Obviously he was never able to recover, and it's boxing, man. Again, styles make fights, and there's just certain styles, man, that just have your number, and it just doesn't really truly make sense. Just like this Manny Pacquiao Ugas fight. This fight didn't make sense for so many reasons. But Manny Pacquiao, he needed the money. He took the fight, and we see the results. It is what it is, man. My boy, the boxing prophet. Fuck Victor Ortiz. Yo, y'all have a great night already, bro. Appreciate you stopping by. Jacob Ray said, my mom will be hustling menudo in the morning, borrachos. Oh, no más. Bro, pinche pozole, compadres. Look, guys, I appreciate your time, man. Hey, I'm having a little party tonight. But again, it's your boy Jimmy Blue. We're gonna discuss some more about this tomorrow. We're gonna be on the Boxer Rundown come Monday. And look, man, it's gonna be a crazy, crazy week of boxing. Hopefully, Manny Pacquiao retires, and if he doesn't, who do you want to see him fight next? Is it gonna be Errol Spence? Is it gonna be Mikey Garcia? Who are we gonna see fight next? Ortiz actually had some major talent, but just had the stomach to finish strong. Yeah, it is what it is. Johnny said, shout outs to Johnny. Gonza said, Ortiz had major talent. He could have finished, he could have been bigger than what he was. Excuse me. I wouldn't say he didn't have the stomach, bro. I would say he just simply didn't have the heart. He didn't have the heart. Have a good time, bro. Already, Fernando. Thank you, bro. Appreciate your time, man. Look, guys, your boy Jimmy Blue. If you guys get a chance, check us out on All Access Elite Boxing on YouTube, man. We got a lot of interviews, but a lot of post-fight coverage. Show some love, man. Subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? I rock with you. You rock